Okay, so the topic, as you see, the title is a little bit provocative. Love, the ideal versus reality. Unfortunately, there is a disturbing gap between what most people, probably not you, most people expect from love in life versus the reality. The reality is usually less than what you expected. Sometimes it's just the opposite, but it's really rare. So there is a reason for this, and in the short time that we have now, I want to give the Jewish perspective about love, about this topic called love, and I'm going to start from the basic of the basic. You know, in order to understand the right way, you have to understand the nature of the human being. The Torah taught us in the beginning that when God created man, he created it in a certain way that has a lot to do with understanding the right way of the relationship between male and female, between husband and wife. So let's go to the verses. Some of them are very familiar. We'll go to the beginning, to the creation. It's mentioned, if you know, that the world was created in 6 days. At the last days of the creation, which is the 6th day, God created man. Before Hashem created man, he created the animals and the fish and the birds. All of them were created male and female. So there is a precedent to this, right? Because of that, it's very interesting to see the description when God created man. He did it in a different way. First of all, in the first chapter, I will read the original. You have here the translation if you need it. God says, "Vayomer Elokim na'aseh Adam b'tzalmenu kidmutenu, v'yirdu b'dgat hayam," etc. And then, "Vayivra Elokim et Adam," God created man in His image, in the image of God, male and female He created them. This is the general description in the first chapter in Genesis. When you go to the next chapter, in the second chapter, there is a slightly different description. And actually, it's not a contradiction, it's just detailed about how he created Adam. So if you go there, you could see that in the second chapter, the 7th verse, "ויצר השם אלוקים את האדם עפר מן האדמה, ויפח באפיו נשמת חיים, ויהי האדם לנפש חיה." So here we're talking about Adam. So Adam is a combination of dust from the ground, which is the raw material that from it God created the body. And to this body, he put the soul. ויפח באפיו נשמת חיים. And he put in it a soul. So the first thing is, we're talking about now Adam by himself without Chava at the time. And Adam is a combination of physical and spiritual. Then, if you go on in this chapter, you could see the things that I pointed out before. God looked at the creation that he created, which is Adam, right? So if you go from verse 7 to verse 18, you'll see the following. "ויאמר השם אלוקים, לא טוב היות האדם לבדו, אעשה לו עזר כנגדו." He looked at the creation that he created, or the creature that he created, and he said, "Not good." If it's not good, why did you do this? And again, because it was a precedent before, he made everything, not just animals, even trees, even everything is male and female, right? So when he created Adam this way, alone, it should be with the intention, right? Then he looked at it and he said, "Not good, not good." So, first of all, why did you do this? And second, what's so not good about it? No reason why it's not good. Okay, we do not know why it's not good, but what will be the solution of the problem? Eselo ezer kenegdo. I will make him, and here's the translation as problematic. You know, when you translate from language to language in any language, it always will take out the meaning in the original one. Okay? So in Hebrew, let me translate it literally. Lo tov heyot adam levado. It's not good that he will be alone. Eselo ezer kenegdo. I will make to him a helper against him. So in Hebrew, kenegdo is alongside to him or against him. If that's against, it's a contradiction, right? Because help is with a positive connotation. Against is negative connotation, right? So from this, you could start to understand what's going on. Because, as I mentioned before, it doesn't mention why it's not good. And if it's not good, why did you do this? Especially when you did everything before, male and female. So there is a very deep reason for this, and this is the root. This is the source, or the first brick in the building that we're going to build in order to understand the right way to look at male and female. Okay, so it's not good. Fine. So what do you want to do? A helper against him, alongside with him. Okay. Now look at the description of what happened. ויפל השם אלוקים תרדמה על האדם, וישן, probably was the first one that went under anesthesia ever, right? And he did an operation. ויקח אחת מצלותיו ויסגור בשר תחתנה. I don't know again how they translate it over here. Okay, that's better. One of his sides. Tsela in Hebrew, if you know Hebrew, how many of you knows Hebrew? Okay. Okay. Those who know Hebrew, you know that tsela is a rib. But tsela also in Hebrew, actually in the Holy Language, in the language of the Bible, is a side. Like tzalot mishkan, tzalot mizbeach. Tsela is a side. And here the translation is very good, okay? So he took one of his sides and fill of flesh in its place, and he took this side, this tsela, and he built it, out of it, the body of his spouse. Okay? What's missing over here? We have now information about how woman created, but it's only half, because when we talk about men, we talk about body and a soul. Over here, it's mentioned only the body, not the soul. So the question is, where is the soul? Where is the soul? So here, we have to go to the deepest levels in the Torah, which is the secret, the Kabbalah sources. And the Kabbalah sources, it says the following, that Hashem created, God created only one soul. And this is the soul that he put in the beginning in the body of Adam. When he separated the body of Adam and took out of it part to build Chava, he also divided the original neshama, soul, divided to two. The parable in the Kabbalah for this is like a coin. You know, a coin, it's one coin, but it has different way, different form, different size. So the male side he left by Adam, the female side he gave to Chava. Okay, fine. Now, let me say the following. Body and soul, or physical and spiritual, are not natural partners. Actually, they just the opposite. And when God created man with the body and the soul, the spiritual part and the physical part, actually, he caused us big problem. He gave a lot of work for psychologists and psychiatrists, because we in us have like two horses that leading us to different directions, to opposite directions. Material interested in the here and the now. Spiritual want to look at the bigger picture, and therefore anything that we will do in life will be coming from one of those sources, but sometimes there will be contradiction between them. So God created human being, and only human being this way, You have to know, by the way, that soul, neshama, I'm talking about Jewish understanding of this, is exclusive to a human being. No other animal, plant, anything else have neshama. Only human being. If you heard that cat has 7 souls, you have to know that it's not from Jewish sources. Soul is only, and we have to differentiate also between the power of life to the neshama. Soul is something bigger. Life, there is a difference between a live dog and a dead dog, right? So what went out or took is not there when it's dead? The nefesh. So there are different, in Hebrew, different names for the big neshama and the nefesh, which is part of the neshama. So animals has nefesh but doesn't have soul. Because we have soul and body, we have the ability to be a free willers. From all the elements that God created in the universe, only human being has this gift of being free willer. All the others, the other elements are actually robots. They obligated to the laws of nature, and the laws of nature dictate them what to do and what. They do not have choice. Only human beings have a choice, and the reason for that is the fact that he is a combination of 2 different entities. Body, which is material, soul, which is spiritual. And the field of the free will is when the interest of those 2 are contradict each other, and then you have to decide. Who's making the decision? You. The body I got, the soul I got. It's not me, I got them. When you ask someone, who are you? Many people will answer you their name. That's not true. You are the choices that you did when you have requests to fulfill from the body and from the soul, and then you are the decision what to do. This is you. Because only your will, your want, decided what to do. Okay. Body and soul by themselves are complicated enough to run because they are not natural partners. A lot of conflicts, and it's a big art to run them in a way that everyone will be happy. When God created man, he created him in the beginning with body and the soul. Then he looked at this and he said, not good. What do you mean? It's not complicated enough. Let's make it even more complicated. So he took the body and divided it to 2, male and female, which is also a contradiction, as you know. I mean, 2 different bodies. And each one of those bodies has a neshama, has a soul. So, according to this, the job of a human being, the art of life, is to realize that each one of us have 2 parts, body and soul, to realize that they are not natural partners, and the art is to make harmony between the body and the soul. It's not easy. It's complicated enough, but it's not enough, said God. I take the body and divide it to 2. The neshama to divide it to 2. Now we have 4 things. His body, her body. His neshama, her neshama. Now the art is to run the entire system together. And this is the project of marriage. Now, in the beginning, God created all this system together. As I mentioned twice already, I will just mention it again. Only human being was created this way, that in the beginning everything was in one body, in one soul, and then God divided them. The Torah says, here at the end, Al ken, therefore, יעזוב איש את אביו ואת אמו ודבק באשתו והיו לבשר אחד. The meaning of this, when God separated the body of Adam to 2 bodies and the neshama to 2, it's not separation for stay separated, It's separation in order to be unified. But God says, I'm not going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. And therefore, we have to understand the following, and this is the basic. The difference between Judaism point of view on marriage, or the connection between husband and wife, and male and female, is in this thing completely different than any other way to look at this. And if I summarize it, it's like this. A man and a woman is not 1 + 1 equals 2, but half plus half equals complete. And if you understand this, and you understand the philosophical and psychological implication, this is it. This is it. Our job in this world, why Hashem created us all together. So, again, in brief, I'll say the following. Human being was created not as another creature among the other elements that God created in the universe. He created a specific, special person, special creature, that this creature will, the mission of this creature is to create itself, create himself, herself. This is our job in life. We are the only one who has a potential when we were born, and our mission in life is to fulfill it in the right way. But we have choice. You can do it this way or that way. Now, in order for a human being to grow balanced, normal, healthy, he needs a lot of things. He or she needs a lot of things. Among those things, aside from eating, drinking, all the physical, technical things, there is a strong need for love in order to grow up normal. And love has two sides. Everyone needs to feel loved, and everyone needs to love. If there is a lack in this, it will influence the way your personality will develop. We find out in our society, in the modern society, in the Western society, that this area of love is very problematic. Meaning many, many people are not satisfied, are not happy with this area in their life. As I started in the beginning, unfortunately, the expectation that we have from love and the reality are not matching. And there is a reason for this. The reason is, it's not a problem of one or two people. It's a common problem. Therefore, probably it's the wrong approach in our society to this concept of love. Now, what would be the concept of love, the real love, according to the Torah? So after this introduction, let me just give you another thing. In the Torah we have 613 commandments. One of them, very famous, also deals with love. We're not talking just about love in marriage or between male and female. There is a mitzvah in the Torah to love your friend. You know that? ואהבת לרעך כמוך? Let me just jump there. Here. ואהבת לרעך כמוך אני השם, it's a commandment, it's mentioned in the Torah in Sefer Vayikra, Perek Yutet, chapter 19 in Leviticus. And the translation over here, I don't know, I saw, this is happened to be better translation to English. But do you know the popular translation to English of this verse? ואהבת לרעך כמוך, love your neighbor, right? Love your neighbor. I'm sorry, it's not true. It's not written in my Torah. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, it's not your neighbor. Anyone who thinks it's neighbor do not know Hebrew. רעך, what's רעך? Your friend. Your friend. So I don't know where it's coming from, that they translated, it's a Christian probably translation, but I saw it even in Jewish translations in certain books. לרעך your neighbor. There is no mitzvah no mitzvah to love your neighbor. I mean, you could love everyone, but the mitzvah is to love your re'acha. Now the question is, what re'acha? Your friend? Why anyone should command me to love my friend? If this person is my friend, probably I love him. I do not need encouragement. Right? So what's the point? What's this mitzvah? ואהבת לרעך כמוך. And this is in general, it's not just between male and female. Okay? Now, the million-dollar question is, what is love? What is the definition of love? Okay? So let me take this verse, analyze it, and then we will see what's the direction, what direction does it go. ואהבת לרעך כמוך אני השם. Each one of the words over here is problematic. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. So there is a commandment to love. What is love? If love, as many people will say, is feelings, strong feelings, or feelings, right? Sympathy, empathy for someone. How it's something that someone could command me to do. If I have it, I have it. If I don't, what do you mean you command me to? But I don't feel. It's not something that you command someone to do, right? If it's feelings. Because God, the creator of a human being, he knows better than anyone else what human being could do and not do. Command us to love, it means that you could create love if you do not have it. Therefore, there is a point to command. But if so, we have to understand what love is. If it's a feeling, again, if I have a feeling, I don't need a command. If I don't have it and someone will command me, how I create it exactly? By saying that if I feel it, I feel it. If I'm not, I'm not. So the first thing is, love is not feeling. It's not. So what is it? In order to understand that, there is another mitzvah in the Torah. Probably also all heard about it. About love. In Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. What's the next? After we know that God is one, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך. Same word, right? Like ואהבת לרעך כמוך, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך. Now, what is the meaning to love God? First of all, could you love anyone that you never met? That you never know? No. So what is love? And because the Torah used the same word here and there, ואהבת לרעך כמוך, your fellow person, and God, it means that it should be common between this love. So for sure, two things. Love is not what Hollywood teaches us what love is. It's not hugging. Because God doesn't have a body, you cannot hug anything. Right? So in the same way, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך is not physical connection. ואהבת לרעך כמוך is not physical connection. It's not. So what is it? It's not physical connection. It's not feeling. So what is it? Let's see. Now let's go on. ואהבת לרעך כמוך אני השם. לרעך again, ואהבת, we have to understand what ahava is, what love is. לרעך, what is? What do you mean רעך? If it's friend, it doesn't make any sense, because if it's my friend, I don't need encouragement to love my friend. The other thing is the word kamocha. Kamocha. What's kamocha? Kamocha is ask yourself or like yourself. Be aware of the following. There is an assumption over here. What's the assumption?
That you love yourself.
That you love yourself. Right? This is the assumption, the hidden assumption. I say, you love yourself. Now you have to love your fellow friend like you love yourself. Is it true?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily true. I know a few people who have problem with themselves. So how a masochistic guy love others, hitting them or be upset with them the same way he or she upset about themselves. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. So again, another rule. You will never, ever be able to love someone if you do not love yourself. This is the assumption. You love yourself. Then, after you love yourself, if you do not love yourself, you'll not be able to love others. Now, another question. What's Ani Hashem? I'm God. This seems extra. The entire Torah was given by God. We have 613 commandments. Not at the end of each one of them, God says, I'm God. But here he said that. It's not the only place. There are more. Few more. But why here, Ani Hashem? Why? So the answer for the last question is, because if you really want to understand what love is, you have to know about God. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, אני השם, means that go here, שמע ישראל השם אלוקינו השם אחד, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך. If you will know how to love God, you will know how to love your fellow friend. Okay? So, yeah.
There's a lot of secular people who I believe are in love.
What?
There's a lot of secular people who I believe are in love and don't even believe in God. I'm not so sure I agree with that statement.
This exactly the thing. How do you define love? You know, according to what they define love, they love each other. The question, are we learning now the Jewish perspective about this? What the Torah means when the Torah says love. They could call anything that they want. You know, people could hug each other and call this love, right? Okay, if this is love, okay, they're in love. But I'm trying to understand what the Jewish approach toward love. Okay, so it's okay. It's valid to define love different way.
Fair enough. Okay, so you're saying they're defining it differently.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Okay, so now let's see how could you love God, and what is the definition of God. There is a famous story in the Talmud. I'll say it in my words, but this is a story. It's in Masechet Shabbat B'daf Lamed Aleph. The Gemara describes that about 1800 years ago was a famous scholar called Shammai, Hillel v'Shammai. They were the head of the Supreme Court of the Jewish nation, which called Sanhedrin. And one time, says the Gemara, came a Gentile, a non-Jew, to Shammai, which was very senior in the Sanhedrin Supreme Court, the Jewish Supreme Court, and he told them, I want to convert to Judaism. Now this guy was honest, but in a way, he was not realistic. So he came to Shammai and he told him, listen, I want to be a Jew. I know that if I want to join the Jewish nation, I need to understand or learn what Judaism is all about. Therefore, I agree that I need to learn what Judaism is. But, please, don't send me now to yeshiva to learn 5 or 10 years. I have no time for that. Could you summarize the entire Judaism to me when I'm standing on one foot? That was his condition. Right? Shani omed al regel achat. I'm standing on one foot. Summarize the entire Judaism. Now, this guy knew that the Jews has 613 mitzvot. He wants Shammai to just summarize it to one simple thing, or in brief. Shammai was a very tough guy. He has no patience for people who has conditions that are not realistic. So he told them, okay, you do not have time? Go home. Go home. When you have time, come back. Don't give me conditions. Okay. So this guy didn't give up. He went to Hillel. Hillel was even senior than Shammai. He was the head of the Sanhedrin. And he came to him with the same story. I want to convert. I want to learn Judaism. Give me the entire Judaism in one little thing. In the time that I could stand on one foot. Hillel looked at him and says, you know what? You really want to know? I'll tell you. And he told him what Judaism is all about. So here's the story. מעשה בנוכרי אחד שבא לפני שמאי, אמר לו גיירני על מנת שתלמדני כל התורה כשאני עומד על רגל אחת. דחפו באמת הבניין שבידו, so Shammai told him, okay, I cannot do it. בא לפני הלל. He went to Hillel, he told him, okay, I could convert you. You want to know what's the entire Torah, what the entire Judaism is? אמר לו, דעלך שני לחברך לא תעביד. So he told them, what is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor, to your friend. This is the entire Torah. Wow, that's easy. That's easy. I mean, you do not have to keep Shabbat, you do not have to keep kosher, you do not have to do any mitzvot. Just what? Anything that you hate people to do to you, don't do to your friend. What's so Jewish about this? Every normal human being, I think, will do the same. But he wants to learn Judaism, right? So, something wrong over here. This guy knew that he wants to learn Judaism. He heard about the 613 mitzvot. How Hillel could tell him, you know, the entire Torah is, don't do to the other what you hate people to do to you. And besides, where it's written in the Torah? There is no such a thing in the Torah. But Hillel tricked him. Let's see what he told him. Amar lo, דהלך שני לחברך לא תעבד. What is hateful to you, don't do to your neighbor or to your friend. Okay? זוהי כל התורה כולה. This is the entire Torah. What do you mean? Okay, let's see. It's not even one of the mitzvot in the Torah. There is no such a mitzvah. But let's see it's one. You have 613. So what about the rest of the 612? How you could say that the entire Torah? So there is a continuation of the sentence. זוהי כל התורה כולה, ואידך פירושהו זיל גמור. The rest, the idach and the rest, the 612, is the explanation of this one. Go learn. What actually he did to him? From the entire Torah, he took one mitzvah, the most impossible mitzvah to perform. Which mitzvah is this? ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Let me explain why it's impossible to do. It's impossible to love anyone the way you love yourself. It's impossible. And I'll explain this later. I'll prove it. So he took from all the Torah this mitzvah, and he didn't even told him in the positive way what to do. He told him the implication of if you love your friend the way you love yourself, you do not want to do to the other what you do not like people to do to you. Right? So he didn't even give him the positive, only the negative of it. But when he told him Ve'idach perusha uzil gmor and the rest, its explanation, it means that this mitzvah by itself, the way it is, it's impossible. But if God said or command us to do it, it means that the impossible is possible. How the impossible will be possible? You need explanation. You know what's the explanation? The 612 other mitzvot. What's going on over here? So let's first understand why it's impossible. And here we come to the secret of love. What real love is. The real love is unification. Let me explain this. In Shema, as we said, when Hashem says, "V'ahavta l'recha kamocha," He said, "Ani Hashem." So in order to understand this, you have to go to the same mitzvah that you have to love Hashem. Go to Shema. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. You see the word Echad. What's Echad? One. Okay? Ve'ahavta is the next word after Echad. And the Echad is the explanation of what love is. Love is unification. One. Okay. How could you love Hashem? How could you love God? The basic assumption is that you love yourself. And it's true. A healthy person, healthy I mean psychologically, healthy person love themselves. And according to that, you could love only yourself. Why? Because love is unification, is one. And because when I love myself, the lover and the beloved is the same one, therefore I love myself. But if so, I could not love anyone else that it's not me. And the Torah says, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha," the same way you love yourself. How could you do that? The thing is, love is giving. How? People think mistakenly that when you love someone, you give them. It's just the opposite. When you give, you love. The more you give, the more you love. Why? Because when I give, part of me is in the thing that I'm extending myself when I love. Let's say someone has a garden near their house. Here in California, you could find it. In New York, forget it. Brooklyn, only cement. But imagine you have a garden, right? So you could hire someone to take care of the garden. That's possible. Many people do that. But some people love their garden and they do it themselves. They plant. They love it. They love it. Why? Because they invest in it. The more they invest, the more you love. Let's say someone has a talent to be an artist, and he took a wood and he made out of it a table or a chair, right? He will be connected to this chair much more than any beautiful chair that he could buy in the store. Why? Because I invested in it. Part of me is here. Therefore, I love myself. I love the thing that I put over here. And this is the secret of love. You could not love anyone but yourself. In order to love the others, you have to invest in them. The more you invest, the more you love. Because you love yourself, not in it. And again, I'm asking, how could you love God according to this? If it's true, you could not give to God anything. Anything that you have is from God. What could you give to God? Right? And here's a very interesting thing. By the way, you could give to God something. Again, the implication is how it's affected you, the giver, not the receiver. Now, what could I give to God? God give me the ability of being free willer. And as I mentioned before, only human being could be a free willer. Every other creature in the world obligated to the laws of nature. They could not do whatever they want. They do not have any wants from themselves. They dictated in anything that they're doing because they're obligated to the laws of nature. God give us the ability as human beings to choose between two opposite things. I could be, in a dilemma that I have two opposite ways to choose this or this, and only me, with my own will, free will, I will decide what I want to do. No one will influence me, only my wants. This is exclusive to a human being. A meaningful free will is between two opposite things, positive and negative. Many people consider free will in different things. Like, if you come to someone's house, they jump on you if they go to the host, even in the door. What are you going to drink? Tea, coffee, cold, hot, right? Many people will think, wow, this is actually a good example of free will, right? Is it?
No.
No, because it's not two opposite things. It's more preference than choosing. What will make it relate to the concept of free will when it's two opposite things? Here you have no choice. You must drink. You must. If you'll not drink, you'll die. Your preference is to drink now or to drink in another 5 minutes. To drink this or to drink this. But it's not two opposite things. Free will is between two opposite things. Between good and bad, good and evil, right? Now, when God gives us this ability to choose between good and evil, in a way, it's good because it gives us independence to decide what we want to do. But if I'm an honest person and I really want to do what's right, I could say to God, you know what, I do not want the positive to be equivalent to the positive, that I will have a temptation to go for it. I don't want it. So take it. I want only one way. I want, with my free will, to be not free willer, that have two confusing ways, but only one. When you do that, you give the gift that God gave you to God, but you know what you're doing and you do it on purpose. You give. You sacrifice a lot. God didn't get anything because He has everything. But it's not up to the receiver, it's up to the giver. And the more you give, the more you love. So this is Ahavat Hashem. In order to know how to love the other, you have to know how to love yourself. And you have to know that yourself is the thing. Love is unified, is unification. Now, if I want to love others, I have to give them. And I have a problem to give. Not just me, each one of you. We have a problem to give. Actually, we have a problem in part of us. We have a body and the soul. The body will never give anything. The body is so selfish. The body is, by definition, is a taker. Because the body is always suffer from lack, built-in lack. You know, let me prove it. We need to eat, right? We need to eat. What is our natural state? That we are satisfied or hungry? What would be the natural state of human being? Hungry. What's the proof of this? There is a very simple proof. Hungry person need to do something in order not to be hungry. You need to eat. A person who was hungry and ate, and now is satisfied, need to do nothing in order to be hungry again. Just need to wait. It automatically will go to the lack. What is the natural state of the human being? To be awake or to be tired? To be tired. So if you feel tired now, feel good about it. It's okay. A person who's tired needs to do something in order not to be tired. You need to sleep. But if a person, let's say, slept for 12 hours, right? He's so awake. He doesn't need to do anything to be tired. He just needs to wait or come up to a lecture. And then you'll feel tired. So you're going back always to the lack point. Because material built in a way that the essence of material is lack. It's very interesting in Hebrew. In Hebrew, how do you say material? Chomer. The essence of the chomer is the choser. That it's chaser, that it's always... And if you take the common letters between chomer and choser, you find the letters chet, vav, and resh. Chomer, choser. Okay? What those three letters combined? They create a word by itself, which is whole. Or actually, even more accurate, vacuum. Vacuum. So it's like, if I take the example from astronomy, you know what black hole is? Black hole is a hole that anything that go in it will be swallowed and it still be vacuum. This is material. Material is, therefore the material is so selfish. The material always look around and say, how I could take from outside inside. And this is the source of egoism, come from this. So forget about giving in the physical. We will never give in the physical. We will always take. And if we will give, it will be as a business. I'm willing to give in order to get. When I'm giving in order to get, what am I? A receiver, a taker, or a giver? A taker. I'm doing business. I'm willing to give in order to get. If I realize that I'm stopped getting, I will not give anymore, right? So you have to be aware of this. This is the facts of life. In the physical dimension, meaning in the body, in the material, you will never be able to give. Because the body has lack built in, and it's always taking. But, we could give. And when we're giving, really giving, we feel great. It's never come from any physical need. The Torah taught us that when you give, it's always from the neshama, not from the body. Because the neshama is just the opposite of the body. The body and the neshama are just opposite. In Hebrew, body called chomer. Physical called chomer. How the neshama called? Ruach. Ruchaniyut is spirituality, right? So, if the main letters in this order, Chet, Vav, Resh, are in the Homer, the same letter just in the other way, from left to right, will create the Ruach. So the Ruach is just the opposite from the Homer. And you could give only in your spiritual side. Because we have those two, in a way, we are takers. But in the other way, we are givers. And this is the harmony that I spoke about in the beginning. You have to realize the nature of the body, the nature of the soul. Understand that they are not natural partners. They actually the opposites. And you have to work them together in harmony. This is the art of life. Now, when you give, who's giving? Not the body. Real giving. If you give in order to get, this is selfish. If you give in order to give without expectation to get back, you know why many people feel, okay, I want to give, I have no problem to give, but I want to get also. Why they so care about getting back? Because they are poor. They are poor. Imagine that they say, okay, I want to give, I'm not expecting getting back anything. Take even more. More. Why I could do that? Only if I'm rich. I don't need. So the body is poor, is built in lack, therefore is always needed to give. But we have other part, which is the spiritual, the neshama. And the neshama could give and give and give and feel great when giving without getting back. ואהבת את השם אלוקיך. As we say, those two mitzvot, let's summarize it here. ואהבת את השם אלוקיך is not giving physical things. The connection between me and God is not in my body, because I have a body, but He doesn't. So the connection is with the spiritual part of me and God. The Torah says, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. You have to know that your friend has a soul. And if the connection between you and your friend, it could be male-male, female-female, male-female, the love could be, in the real understanding of the notion, only in the not physical parts. Because the physical could not give, it's only, the physical only taking. Love is to give. So the giving should be, or could be, happening only in the spiritual level. Because this concept is so not the concept that we heard in the Western society, that's not the concept of Hollywood, you could see the problem. You see the crisis. That people could not, people are selfish. They're doing deals with each other, you know? I have needs, you have needs, come on, let's be partners. So as long as the deals works, fine. But let me be cynical a little bit. You know, I met a girl and I say, you know what? Okay, I met many girls in my life, you are the one. Why I chose you? Because I made a very cold calculation. You are the one, and it could be from both sides, from the male to the female, from the female to the male. And that's what's happening. You know why I chose you? Because I realized that you could give me all the things that I need with a reasonable price, from my point of view. So, it's a good deal. You have also needs, right? If you realize that I could give it to you with reasonable price from your point of view, let's make a deal. How long it will work? Until I'll find someone that could give me everything that you're giving me with a lower price. Then I should be really stupid
The need will change.
to stay with you.
Or you will have different needs.
Okay, if you realize what your need is. And this is the thing. Because of this is the situation. All the connections are very short term. And you know, after a few times that you was naive and thought, wow, I found the love of my life, and you got into the crisis, the first one, the second one, the third one, then you give up. Okay, all the men are the same, all the ladies are the same, there's no hope. And this is the situation. Here in California, people stop getting married, as you know. Stop. It doesn't make any sense. Why? Why? And it's a problem. What is the problem? It's easy because no obligation. But you have to know, every human being, Hashem created us in a way that we need to be bezugiyut, in connection, in good connection. We have three realms of needs: physical, spiritual, and mental. People, because they decided, okay, forget it, it doesn't worth to get married, they could find solutions for the physical needs, alternatives. But those alternatives doesn't work and actually ruin the mental needs and for sure the spiritual needs. And therefore, people are not happy. Are not happy because they are not fulfilled. And God created us in the beginning as one, separated us in order for us to reunite, and there is no other way to do it but this way. Therefore, if you learn deeper what love is, you could find the problem that is the problem of the Western society. Because people are not happy and people need to be happy. They are not happy because anyone who is not in this state, being male and female, with a healthy relationship, with harmony of physical and spiritual, when it's based on the spiritual, not on the physical. Be aware of another thing, and it's good for people who are above 30. Physical is very exciting when you're young. What happened to the body? The more, you age, the body getting down, right? The soul is growing endless. I mean, at the age of 40, you should be much more mature and healthy spiritually than you were 10 years ago. At the age of 60, 70, you have more experience, you understand better, right? So in this area, you're growing. In the physical, in the beginning, it sounds excited, but it's going down. So if you want a long-term relationship, it will be better if they'll be based on the spiritual than the physical. I mean, the physical is also important, don't take me wrong. It's important. But the main thing is the spiritual. When the relationship are just based on physical needs, they are short-term relationships, for sure.
Define spiritual. What do you call spiritual?
Okay, now spiritual, there are two things, spiritual and mental. Mental is something that not, connect to the neshama. It's more to the nefesh and kochot nefesh. But spiritual is the neshama. And according to the Torah, you need to complete yourself in the neshama, in the mental, to be normal, to be just normal with your feelings and your personality,
And you said it's
and
not a feeling.
the physical. What?
You said before it's not a feeling.
No, I don't say, again, love is not feeling, love is giving.
So why
Love-
is spiritual?
Love is giving. You could give only in the spiritual part. In the physical, you could not
Give
give.
me examples.
Giving meaning, when I care about someone and I give, and not money, not hug, but attention. Or I really care about someone, I feel the same way, or if they suffer and I feel the same things, and I invest my time to do something, even though I'm not getting from it anything, the investment caused the feeling of, caused the love, the giving, the investment. The investment is actually me that invest in you. So that could be in the spiritual level, not in the physical. In the physical, it's taking. You have to understand this. Simple. If it's physical only, it's just pure taking. When you have a neshama that could give, the fact that the neshama is in the body and the body has needs depends what is the main thing. If the main thing is the neshama, okay, even though there is also benefits of taking, but the base of our relationship is the giving of the neshama, then it's okay. But when it's based on the give-take of the body, as long as it works, when it's very... The reality is it's very short term. It's going to end after, you could see people going together, let's say, for 4 or 5 years, getting married after 3 months. It's not it. You're separated. What happened? What happened? Before, you were giving because it was not, you were not obligated. She was not obligated. You are not obligated. You give. When it's obligation, you take it for granted, and that's it. And then it's end. That's the end of it. So we have to understand, again, according to the Torah, giving, love is giving. Giving could be done in the spiritual level. Therefore, when I meet, you know what, let's finish with this thing. It's the way you look at yourself. If you look at yourself in the mirror, you say, what do you see in the mirror? Your body. So, who are you? Your body? If you understand yourself or relate yourself as a physical body, this is the way that you look about everyone else. When you go on the street, you will see people. What do you see? Bodies. If you look at yourself as a soul in a body, when you meet someone, you will see a soul in a body. And there is a huge difference. If it's as a body, it's just something. It's not someone, it's something. Right? In order to see the someone, you need to look at yourself in the right way. And we are neshama in a body. And therefore, we have respect to each other. This is the main thing. One of the main things in relations that collapse is the lack of respect. I must respect my spouse. And I could not, artificially respect. I have to find good things in her character, in his character, in order to respect it. When you have no respect, it's just a matter of time that it will be broken. So what could you respect? The solid respect is for good attribute, characters, which is the personality, not the body. If you relate to your spouse as a body service, then you could easily find someone else that could give you the same service with lower price, right? But if your relationship based on the spiritual, and again, if you learn Torah, you understand the mitzvot that connect. Mitzvot is a connection between the body and the soul and everything. I take a cup of water, right? I drink water. Every cat, a dog, drink water. I'm the only one who could make a bracha on the water. And a bracha is not just to say a sentence. If you understand what you're saying, it's amazing. What I say before I drink water. If you think about the sentence, this sentence is a whole philosophical idea. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, shehakol niya bidvaro. You want to drink? Well, you become a philosopher who made the... Come on, just drink. Well, what's the idea over here? So drinking is essential for me to exist, right? That's why, and for the dog and the cat or the animal also. But I'm the only one who could drink, understand that essential for me, and then, if I'm smart enough, ask myself the next question: why it's so important for me to exist? What's the purpose of life? I'm here just by chance. There is a creator. Why he created? What's the entire program? How I'm playing, what role I'm playing in it? All of this in this little sentence of Shakol Niya Bidvaro. Because if Shakol Niya Bidvaro, there is a purpose to the creation. There is purpose to me. So every physical thing we're doing, as Jews who keep mitzvot, we're doing everything that every human being and animals do. Right? Judaism is to give every physical thing spiritual meaning and connect the physical with the spiritual. And this is the secret of marriage also. Marriage is not just when two dogs goes together. That's animalistic. Marriage is commitment. It's a covenant between me and her, me and you. So this covenant is serious. We have same goals. We want to build a family. we want to have good relationship. We know that we came to this relationship in order to respect each other, to work and refine our attributes. This is a whole work. So when you go to marriage this way, there is a good chance that they will be successful. When you go with what's popular, like this, to hug, and it's all at the realm of the physical, just a matter of time when it's going to collapse. Okay, so this is the story, or this is what I could say now. It's much bigger than this, but this is the time that we have. This is the base, okay? The basic of this. Thank you for your attention. Yes.
How do you tell the body, how do you have